Well, you won the election. Congratulations. But we do have a tradition of professional courtesy up here, and I can personally vouch for each and every one of these men.
You're all fired.
What's up, guys? Spenny. It is the second week of the government shutdown, and this is going to be the single most joyous moment for all people that believe that the federal government should shrink. And let me explain. The rifts are here. What do I mean by that? Well, this is the option that the Trump administration has in order to mass fire federal employees given a government shutdown and a restructuring of how the budgetary process works. It sounds a little dorky, but it's really not. President Trump was able to explain it actually in a meme here that he shared on Truth Social. This is the meme of the Reaper. The Reaper is a man named Russ Vogt. Of the Dilly Meme team. President Trump again shared that, and he was explaining what was about to happen. Donald Trump began his promised mass purge of federal workers on Friday, as more than 4,100 people were laid off federal government shutdown rolls. That's close to 5,000 federal workers fired. The president previewed the pink slips at a press conference in the Oval Office earlier on Friday, blaming them on the Democrats. It'll be a lot. Democrat-oriented, because we'll start this thing, and there's going to be a lot of people because of the Democrats. And it's the biggest set of firings in the federal government since Elon Musk's DOGE early purges in the second term. The White House Budget Office said on Friday the mass firing of federal workers have started in an attempt to exert more pressure on Democrats and lawmakers as the government shutdown continues. Russ Vogt, the director of Office of Management and Budget, said the social platform X that the rifts have begun, referring to the reduction in force plans aimed at reducing the size of the federal government. RIF stands for Reduction in Force. The White House previewed that it would pursue the aggressive layoff tactics shortly before the government shutdown on October 1, telling all federal agencies to submit their reduction in force plans. It said reduction in force could apply to federal programs whose funding would lapse in a government shutdown. Well, there you go. And you can already see like fired feds walking out of their jobs. I just can't. I just can't tell you how much I love seeing feds crying as they leave their job. It is an amazing time. Trump Hatchet Man says substantial bloodbath now underway in federal workforce. Hello. This is such a great meme. Russ Vogt says it's time, baby. Donald Trump's federal workforce Hatchet Man has announced a bloodbath is now underway. Russ Vogt says the rifts have begun. The layoffs are substantial, an OMB source claimed, without confirming the number of firings. We now know that number to be near 5,000. Trump said that the Republicans have been dangling the threat of Vogt, an ultra-conservative architect of Project 2025, in an attempt to get Democrats to the negotiating table. The government has been shut down since October 1. Democrats and Republicans are ready to lock and load. The rifts have begun. There you go. Russ Vogt. Here comes the Reaper. Thousands of Americans are losing their jobs in the middle of a government shutdown. And here's how it works. Department of Commerce, Department of Education, hundreds of employees. Department of Energy, hundreds of employees. HHS, thousands of employees. Department of Urban Development. Who needs a Department of Housing and Urban Development? You don't need that. Free market takes care of that. Department of Homeland Security, Department of Treasury. There's going to be redundant and meaningless employees everywhere. I lived in D.C. for so long. So many of these people are just like Slavish welfare cases. The Trump administration rifts involved more than 4,000 federal employees per a filing from OMB. The left is having a meltdown over the rifts. Federal workers. So far, layoffs is 0.0025 of the non-military federal workforce. That's right. There are 4 million, close to 4 million federal employees. Leading lawsuit challenging Trump administration's latest round. So the libs are suing in order to keep federal welfare babies at their Fed jobs. OMB spokesperson confirms that the rifts are substantial. Trump administration firing thousands in a reduction in force. These are not furloughs, these are terminations, thanks to the Schumer shutdown. Nice. Nice. You don't understand. I don't cheer individuals losing their jobs, especially over cancel culture and stuff like that. Oh, we found a tweet that we didn't like. What I'm saying is that I lived in DC, man. And I'm telling you, the federal workforce is the laziest, most slovenly, most embarrassing, least productive, least impressive group of people that I've ever seen in my life. Obviously, there are people that do good work. Okay, I'm not saying fire all of it and liquidate the entire federal government in total anarchy. Although, sometimes a boy can dream. What I'm saying here is that you could, the federal workforce is the federal government is the #1 employer in all of America. It was never designed to be like that. There are 1 million workers for Amazon, 1 million workers for Walmart, and nearly 5 million employees for the federal government. And by the way, they get paid so much more than the private sector worker. Federal workforce has shrunk under Trump, like if you voted for this. A RIF is a reduction in force, unlike a furlough, which is a temporary. A RIF is a permanent elimination of the position. Let's go, baby. Posting again. Cleaning up the government, waste, fraud, and abuse. Let's go. There it is. The RIFs have begun. You wanted them. Now you get them. You get dark MAGA. Imagine working your whole life for one singular moment, planning meticulously for years, and then one day it arrives. Congratulations, Russ. Happy hunting. Russ Vaught. /it. Right. Finally, every dollar wasted on the bureaucracy is a dollar stolen from hardworking Americans. Thank you. Federal employees. These are thousands of persons. Okay, so these are 3.1 million employees. Here we go. Now that's nice. That's nice to see. Federal employees crashing down. 2.9 million. Good. Okay, we're on our way. What do you think shrinking the administrative state meant? Vibes, papers, essays? No, this is what it means. There is only one thing better than a Led Zeppelin guitar riff, and that's a rough Russ Vaught bureaucracy riff. Mass government layoffs have begun. Ladies and gentlemen, Carolyn Levitt promising that these mass layoffs are totally imminent, and Donald Trump explaining them at the White House yesterday. Carolyn Levitt confirming mass federal layoffs of tens of thousands of bureaucrats. Get ready. Here we go.
Well, sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do, and it's because the Democrats have put us into this position. If the Democrats did not vote to shut down the government, we would not be standing up here talking about layoffs today. We'd be talking about all the other news stories going on in the world in our country. We'd be talking about all of the great things that this administration is doing to uplift Americans across the country. But unfortunately, the Vice President of the United States and I have to come out here today to talk about a government shutdown that the Democrats put us in this position. And a second question. Go ahead, Joey.
Thanks, Caroline. I'm just trying to clarify the timing of these potential layoffs to federal workers. You said imminent. The Vice President seemed to say in a couple of days. It looks like Russ Vought maybe said in 2 days. When would these layoffs begin?
2 days, imminent, very soon. You will expect more announcements right now.
Is it just unclear, or are you waiting?
No, it's not unclear. All of those things are very synonymous with one another. These rifts are unfortunately going to happen very soon.